We may never see anything like the Warriors dynasty ever again. We're about to have an 8th straight season with a new champion after the presumptive favorite, who was aiming to go back-to-back, crashed out in the conference finals after some absolutely deplorable performances from their key players. And the team that beat them just got their chain snatched on their home floor for the first 2 games of the finals after we all expected the finals to be a coronation rather than a competition. Those Warriors teams didn't get the respect they did deserve then, they don't get it now, and they may never get it until we all accept the fact that a new NBA champion every year is the actual norm. Those Warriors teams had a level of selflessness that these teams don't have. They had a level of leadership that these teams don't have. And until we decide to recognize that, the Warriors may never get the props that they actually deserve. The Rams went out and acquired Myles Garrett for 3 future draft picks. And in case you were wondering whether or not the battle was going to get even tougher for the 49ers in the NFC West, the gap just got that much wider between them and the Rams and the Seahawks. The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl in the 49ers' backyard, and the Rams, who were just on the doorstep, went out and got the best defensive player in the National Football League. Mike Dunleavy took questions from the media after announcing Steve Kerr's return as Warriors head coach. And the biggest thing that stuck out was Dunleavy's claim that the Warriors didn't play a team with a better roster than them this season. It's a little surprising coming from a team that comes up in every trade conversation for other teams' best players every offseason and every trade deadline. Why would they openly pursue Lauri Markkanen if they had enough talent? Why would they finish 8 games under 500 if they had enough talent? And even after Jimmy Butler and Moses Moody go down, there were opportunities for other players on the roster to step up, and they never did. It's so obvious seeing the talent gap, watching some of the teams still battling in the playoffs. If there are any minds in the Warriors brass that think this roster is good enough to compete with teams still playing in May, they are simply irrational. And if this irrational thinking goes on for much longer, fans should be calling for wholesale changes. Buster Posey spent much of his appearance on the morning show defending his roster decisions as the Giants fall further down the pecking order in the NL West. Buster said there's no lack of grit on this roster and that new manager Tony Vitello is his man for the job. He's right to credit Vitello. He's brand new to the major league level and he's working with the options that he has. The lack of options is a thing that falls on Posey. The Giants spent the offseason getting beat by the Dodgers to Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz, who would have been heroes with the Giants. The lineup on paper looks fine, but they had to know they would have to move things around at some point, and there's just not much depth to shuffle with. The farm system looks great across all the affiliates, but how long until it actually translates at the big league level? The previous regime spent most of their tenure touting a minor league system that never panned out. The Giants' offense exploded on Sunday against the Rockies. They scored 19 runs on 25 hits, and everybody in the starting lineup got at least 1 RBI. Are the Giants all the way back, or what? Not so fast. This was on the backside of a 5-game losing streak, including Friday night's disaster class where they carried a 3-run lead into the 9th just to lose on 2 home runs against the Rockies, no less, one of the worst teams in baseball since the turn of the decade. They're 8.5 back in the wild card race. They're double-digit games back in the division, and we haven't even hit June yet. They're the lowest scoring team in baseball. They went 10-18 in the month of May, and they just DFA'd their third base coach. Not their third baseman, their third base coach. Things are starting to turn around for the Giants. After winning 4 of 5 against the Pirates and Dodgers, they look to have found something from players from the back end of their lineup. But the loss in LA on Wednesday was a telltale sign of what really needs to happen. Willy Adames made a horrendous base running error, killing their only dangerous chance in the game. Robbie Ray gave up back-to-back homers in the 3rd and got knocked out of the game before finishing 5 innings. If the Giants really want to get into a groove, the veterans on the team need to play their part. Ray's given up 10 home runs this year, second worst in the league, and not much about what Willy Adames has done has been very impressive either. The Giants will take all they can get from the guys at the back end, but the team needs to count on the big names to take the leap into contention. The Giants are an unmitigated disaster. They just gave up 5 runs and blew a 3-run lead in the 9th inning to the Colorado Rockies, who've been one of the worst teams in baseball since the turn of the decade. They can't count on anybody in their bullpen to give them a decent outing, much less in a save situation. And the return of Logan Webb doesn't mean much because the bullpen blew a lead when he gave them one. If nothing changes soon, the fans might start to turn on management entirely, including one of their most beloved icons.